Now, the video that you're about to watch exposes some things that were happening during the Jim Crow, and these were important times, especially in history of humankind. I'm talking to black people. These grannies are probably in their 70s and 80s. Just listen to what they shared about what happened to black people and why black people are a special group of people. Brothers and sisters, buckle up for this video. I'll be back and then I'll be sharing my thoughts in regards to this. So let's watch the video. I'll be back. Please let me know what you think about this.
So you two were born in southern Georgia and spent most of your, well, you, Gloria, your whole adult life, and Mom until you were what, 50, 40 something, you moved down to New Mexico?
Yeah, I lived in Brunswick and Jacksonville and Folkestone. All my people was there.
So your growing up days, you didn't move away from the South until you were way into an adulthood. So both of y'all know that one of the big topics in the country right now is what's going on race-wise. You know, there's a whole lot of stuff regarding race that people are talking about today, but I recognize y'all were born in the early and middle 1940s, and when you became teenagers in the 1950s, segregation was going on in the South, and racism
Coming to an end then.
Okay, but racism was at its all-time high when y'all, well, other than slavery. But I want to get your memories of what you remember at that time, what it was like being a teenager, how that made y'all feel, and what you witnessed during these times.
You want to go first?
Oh, yes. We didn't, we was always strictly whites in our school. And when I was coming up, you know, everybody was white. Everybody was white. And then when they started integrating, you know, it still did not, it didn't bother me. I didn't like some of the things that the Ku Klux Klan done. I did not like that at all. Even as a child, I knew that's not right to treat the black people like that.
We had a mother,
Yeah,
a Christian mother,
a Christian
that kept
mother.
us straight, that
Yeah.
God loved them just like He loved us.
That's
And
right.
that's where where my father was racist, very racist.
Yes,
And,
very was.
I didn't know my grandmother was until a talk on the porch we had one day. But the whole, are you through?
Tell me about what you
Go ahead, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
tell me about what you saw your grandmother do.
We were sitting on the front porch and on Jacksonville, Florida. We had big white rocking chairs on this old mansion. Used to be at one time, and they fixed it up, and it was a beautiful home. And we were sitting on the front porch, and this elderly black lady come walking by with her hair tied up and taking her groceries home, and just walking along. And Grandma said, "Look at there. She thinks she's just as good as anybody." And I'd never heard her say anything like that. And I said, "Well, Grandma, she is. She's not hurting nobody." I said, "She's just taking her groceries home." Well, at the time, the Black Panthers was fighting for civil rights and stuff, and it was all over the TVs. And she says, "Well, you just wait. One day they're going to be marrying and marry white and black and everything. Then you'll see. You'll see." Oh, well, she was right. That's exactly what happened. But I'd never heard Grandma talk that way, talk down, because she wasn't doing anything, just going home. But if it wasn't for a black woman, my daddy couldn't have made it. Grandma could not feed Daddy, but there was a black woman that worked for them that was feeding her baby, so she fed Daddy, because Grandma's milk had dried up. He was fed and kept alive by a black woman. And this is something they didn't like to talk about too much, but I know because I heard it. And they thought they used her like a cow, is what they did. Instead of, I don't know if they ever thanked her for what she did for Daddy, but Grandma had 7 children, and Daddy was the baby. And she was in her 40s. He was a change of life baby, they called him. And she got childbirth fever or something. She got sick. Anyway, she had no milk for Daddy. But that black wet nurse fed my father. And you would think that there would be some kind of thankfulness there. I never heard that. I didn't hear that out of them. Matter of fact, they didn't care to talk about it. But she kept Daddy alive with her milk.
Tell me what it was like going out to dinner, going to the movies.
You take the
Okay,
theater.
where we lived in Buxton, Georgia, they had a theater. And his name, I remember his name and everything. He was a very nice man. The blacks had to sit up in the top, and the whites sit in the bottom. And it never bothered me or anything.
Didn't think about
The
it.
only thing is one
It was
night-
just so common. Y'all really just didn't think anything.
No, because they didn't come down, and they got what they wanted and go up, and and they had their own bathrooms and stuff, and it was just when the Ku Klux Klan came in one night. It was one Saturday night
At the movie theater?
No,
Oh,
they
just-
didn't go
Now,
in.
see, she
They-
said she's talking about something I don't know nothing about.
Okay, they was all dressed in the hoods and stuff, and
I never
because
saw
they
that.
said something about they didn't want him to ever said can he say it? Let the blacks start sitting down in
The movie
Wow.
theater owner was going to do that, and
well, they had heard something about that anyway, and all the Ku Klux Klan. Anyway, Irma, I think, then went shot to move to the roller rink that night, and so I wanted to go see, but I hadn't seen the movie. They have a movie changed every 2 weeks or something like that. So, and Mom said, well, I'd rather that she not go up there tonight if there's going to be any trouble. And Daddy said, oh, there won't be no trouble. He said, I'll be up there with her. And we got there, there was Ku Klux Klans everywhere. And he said, I'll make sure she ain't gonna get hurt or nothing. Anyway, people come in and they started hollering at them or something. Anyway, the police come up there and made them leave. And we went in and watched the movie and everything. Come back out, couldn't see nothing nowhere. But after that, they did integrate. And as far as I know, I never heard of any problems after that. But I think he kind of woke the people were. See in a small town, and you knew some of these men with these hoods on. It kind of just faded right on out, But I don't know of any of them ever getting hurt or beat or anything.
what were their, like, do you remember ever seeing what their bathrooms were like, their drinking fountains?
Oh, yeah. All right, now.
I never went upstairs.
No,
was
but this
talking
is in Cresces. I was in Cresces with Mama, and I know you were probably somewhere just looking around. But this little black boy went up to the fountain, and he was real small. And they had the black, and they had one over to the side of white only. And he could not reach. He knew to go to the black one, And this woman that worked there, he went and pulled on her and says, ma'am, could you help me get some water? And she said, she looked down at him like he was the scum of the earth and said, go get your black mammy to help you.
And this is just a little boy.
The little boy.
Just a thirsty
and the
little
look on
boy.
his face was devastating. I remember that. And the bathrooms, the black bathroom and the white bathroom, you couldn't hardly stand to go past it. Nobody cleaned the black bathroom. But the white bathroom always smelled better. It was like clean. And there's so many things. I saw how they were treated. Like she was talking about the theater. The woman that done our popcorn and drinks, she'd take care of all the white kids first. They were standing in a line outside the window, on the sidewalk. They didn't come in to where we were. They stood on a line outside the window. And when everybody was going out, she'd raise that window. And they'd hand her their money and tell them and she'd act like it was dirty, just like that. I remember how she looked. I was a teenager when all this was going on, and they'd get there. It didn't matter if it rained, cold, or anything. They stood out there to get their stuff, and then they'd go back upstairs with it. But racism was running rampant.
Do you feel like how they're saying it is today compares to how it was then?
It's better today. We don't have all that kind of stuff. I mean,
Oh.
everything's
I
open.
hear, Chair, I differ. I mean, they have fought for their rights.
Yeah.
They have, been the anger in the people, I understand, the anger, because they had been so mistreated for so long. They're being stopped by cops for no reason, things like that.
Okay. Well, thank you for the history.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from wherever you're watching me from. I'm your host and presenter, Agent Stories. I want us to just sit down and reflect. Our black people have always been repaying white people with good. Black people have been doing good throughout the history. But guess what? White people will always come and repay black people in an opposite negative way. This is something which has been happening. When you heard all those grandmothers, when they were saying how black people raised them well, and this is not for the first time we are hearing this kind of cases. Remember when we had this Asian man that came out and talked about black women and how black women have a motherly nature and how black women do care for people. Let's talk about this child that was told, and in case they are in a trouble, the first person that they need to seek help from is black people. Now, do you remember that? So since you remember that, brothers and sisters, this is what I want to tell you. They are always misusing black people. But that's not all. You ask yourself, why are black people always asking for reparation? It is because the treatment that they went through during all those Jim Crow times, brothers and sisters. So I really don't know what you think and feel about this, but that's just the reality of the matters. And as for what is happening right now, for what we are seeing happening, and people really shared some important things that I wanna, that I wanna share with you, that are really, really important. Somebody said that Arkansas in the 1970s, I had to go into the door marked black to see a doctor. Arkansas in the late 90s, my mother couldn't go to town one day because the Klan had a rally scheduled. I still have the flyers. America still has sundown towns. Truckers have gone missing this year passing through those towns. There have been over 10 lynchings this year in America that are labeled suicides. Stop pretending this is a thing from the past. The people are still alive. Blacks are indigenous American and they are the immigrants. Whites are the immigrants. When you get to learn and see what the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, what they did to black people, there was so much devastating things that they did that some part of history usually don't like talking about this. But this is just the reality. This is just amongst the things that these people did to black people. I'm not talking about how they burned down black businesses, what they did to black people, how they fed black kids to alligators while black people took care of their kids. Haven't you seen or haven't you heard some white people come out, see and congratulate how they were raised by black women, how they were raised by black nannies? They raised them well. But how did white people repay black kids? You have seen devastating stories. You have heard all those crazy stuff that happened. Somebody said that I appreciate their honesty. See, people throughout our history, while they were still enslaved, we knew that they were wet nurses for the master's wife, but they were wet nurses on past the abolishment of slavery. They were still doing it in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, still nursing those white women's babies. I watched the documentary. It was like from back in the 50s, and there was a white lady that was, talking about the lady that cleaned their home for them That black lady nursed all 5 or 6 of her children. She was their maid, but she also nursed that white lady's kid in the 50s. It's crazy. Somebody also came and shared that my mother lived through that horrible time period in the deep south. She talks about it all the time. She remembers going into the movie theater in the 50s and 60s, having to sit in the balcony. She told me they would throw stuff like food, water, and trash down below where the kids sat. What people don't know or won't talk about this, it is in their DNA. Some of these people are our relatives, likely though, unfortunate circumstances. We are seeing this thing happening. Somebody also came and shared, as an African American, one thing I can say, we do not need to hear nothing from these ladies because our families lived through it. We know the stories we had, the stories passed down from generation to generation. That's not uncommon for those who were teenagers at that time to not be able to say much and have to do with flow because their parents were racist. Some families let the hate pass down from generation to generation, and other families did not. I remember when my grandmother told me why my whole family left North Carolina in a hurry to move up to Maryland. It was because when she was young, every day they would drop her aunt off to go to work for a white family as a maid, and they would pick her up after work. One day, they dropped her off, came back to pick her. The family said she never showed up for work. My grandmother said they watched her go in house. The police just took their word and did nothing. The aunt was just missing and was probably buried in the backyard somewhere. Lord, that's crazy. She also said, as quiet as it was kept, a black person would come up missing and or unalived, and law enforcement will do nothing, especially if it was by the hands of a white person. It was feeling like serial killers were on the loose, just taking out black people. Our family state had no clue concerning my great aunt's remains. You want true real facts and stories? Ask an old African American because these ladies for sure won't and can't tell you half of it. It is true because I had a sense, while I was watching the video, I had a sense like they are trying to, hold back. There's something holding them back. There's something that they don't want to say or they don't want to share. So generally, there's something holding them back. And, this is happening, right? So trying to figure out how all these things happened. There is baked truth, half-baked truth that they are saying. But we need to, that's why I needed to, go through all these comments and see what people are saying in regards to this, brothers and sisters. Somebody also came and said, my son and my granddaughter lived in Brunswick. We're from the New Orleans. I moved 2 years ago. I've been wanting to visit, but I can't because I just had a baby. I also have a toddler and it's long ride and I don't want to fly. And it just happened so that my husband's family is from Jessup and Brunswick, but that wasn't the reason we moved. My kids went to school. They went to. Okay. Somebody came and say, are these the superior people I've heard so much about throughout many years and throughout the globe? How can that be when they look so wrinkled so fast? My 78-year-old black mother looks only 50ish. She looks especially young compared to these people. I think the slur from white women cost them bags. Maybe. Somebody also came and said, respectfully, ladies, the clan was also called Christians, that their meeting place right after they had clan services and right before they had their Sunday lynchings with their children laughing and smiling. Those same children then are white so-called Christians. Now, Somebody also came and said that these people are really something else and it's not good. These ladies seem all right, but that's all I can say for them. My parents were black folks born in North Carolina. My dad was born in 1928 and my mom in 1930s. I can only imagine the orders they went through, even though they rarely talked about it. Um, um, Somebody also came and said that the Bible says, since they are all Christians, that jealousy is as cruel as the grave. However, it is a lot of black women, even in the biblical time, fed white babies, and it wasn't because their parents didn't have no milk, but thank you for this and not what we did. No, this, or should I say, it might be a history lesson for some that don't want to know what really happened, but we really know this part of history. So generally, a lot happened, and this is a message to probably people that don't understand this part of history. For me, I already knew it. I saw it sometimes back, and I learned from it. And this was just a confirmatory part of history that we need to always address. We need to always come and talk about. As you know, I'm your number one host, Eugene presenter, Eugene Took Stories. And if you're watching me for the first time, I'm just asking you to please subscribe to the channel, join the membership, and really get to what I can offer you. For those who are always coming back watching my videos, man, I'm really, really grateful for the support that you're giving me. But until then, let me see you on my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.